Hey, what's going on? This is Jordan Harris, and you're watching Sports Truth. So, what are we talking about today? Today, we're talking about the big announcement that just dropped yesterday, which was Cam Ward deciding to come to the University of Miami. So, I did make a quick instant reaction. My mind was kind of frazzled. I was like hyped up over the news that I had just read. Also, I was taking my family to the movies. I was trying to hurry up and do all. It was just a whole lot going on, so my mind was kind of frazzled. So, I took a little bit of time to gather my thoughts. So today we're going to talk about the 5 things that's going to be changed by Cam Ward's commitment. All right. Of course, I could have made a video that had 10 to 15 things, to be honest with you, but I just wanted to do 5 things to keep the video at a decent a decent time frame. I don't want to make an hour-long video. So figured I'd do just 5 things, and we'll start with number 1, which is Ja'Curry Brown's future at Miami. So a whole lot of y'all probably thinking, "Hey man, I don't think he's gonna just bail on us like that." But let's start from the beginning and then we'll work our way up. Okay. So as you all know, Ja'Curry Brown didn't really play at all this past season. He didn't play in the regular season at all. Then when the bowl game came around, we needed a quarterback. He jumped in there, played in the bowl game against Rutgers. Looked fine. He looked much better than he did the year before. Um, my thought was that he was going to transfer. Like, I thought this probably back in week 5 or 6. I'm like, oh yeah, Ja'Curry Brown's not sticking around next year. Especially whenever Emory Williams ended up starting over him, I was like 95% sure Ja'Curry Brown was going to leave. So after the bowl game, I assumed, okay, he put some pretty decent tape on film. He can push that out to all these potential suitors out there in college football world, and at least 1 or 2 coaches are going to be begging for his services, and he'll leave Miami and play for them. But Ja'Curry Brown decided to stay, which I was extremely happy about. I think most of us are extremely happy about. So then I'm thinking he's most likely going to be the front runner for next year's starting job. Then we ended up bringing in RPB from Albany, transfer from Albany, and I'm thinking Ja'Curry Brown's still going to be the front runner. Like, let them compete for the starting job, but Brown is going to be the front runner still. So, of course, he wants to stick around, earn that QB1 position on a pretty good team, really good team as far as skill wise, you know what I'm saying? So, QB1 on a really good team, of course he wants to stick around for that. Okay, so now Cam Ward is here. Cam Ward is the QB1. Not even a question. It's not a competition. Cam Ward, QB1, and then we've got Ja'Curry Brown and the rest of the guys right after that, right? So now we've got to start asking ourselves, is Brown going to leave now? Is he going to leave in the spring because he's like, I want to be the starter. They're bringing people in over me. I'm getting out of here. So I'm thinking of this from the perspective. Now, I don't know what he's going to do, obviously. You don't know what he's going to do. But I'm trying to put myself in a position if I was Ja'Curry Brown's parents. What would I be thinking? What I would think is I would tell my son, look, they just brought in a guy in Cam Ward who is exactly what you could be, maybe most likely even better in just a couple of years. So if Ja'Curry Brown, if he was to lose the starting job to somebody his same age, like Emory Williams, they're both freshmen, even though he's a redshirt freshman. But if he loses the starting position to somebody his level, I would say, yeah, man, it's time to transfer. If Ja'Curry Brown was to lose the starting job to somebody who doesn't play his type of football, meaning like he's not a slasher, he's just not he doesn't have the build or anything like Ja'Curry Brown, I would say, yeah, Ja'Curry, it's probably time to leave. But the fact that you have somebody starting in front of you who's going to play your exact same style, he's going to be a dual threat quarterback who can move in the pocket, keeps his eyes down the field. All Ja'Curry Brown has to do is sit on the bench for 1 more year and learn under a person that he just has to replicate. All Ja'Curry Brown has to do is watch Cam Ward, everything he does, every snap of the season. He said, if I do this next year, I'll be the starting quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes. All he's got to do is watch Cam Ward play, and he will be the starting quarterback as long as he replicates what Cam Ward is doing. That's what I would tell Ja'Curry Brown if I was his parents. At least that's what I believe I would tell him. All you gotta do is watch what he's doing and replicate that. Now, if Ja'Curry Brown was sitting behind somebody like Will Rogers, where it's like Will Rogers is nothing like me. He doesn't play anything like me. You know what I'm saying? Then I'd be like, okay, I probably need to get out of here. But the fact that Cam Ward's playbook will most likely look exactly like Ja'Curry Brown's playbook, it's going to be almost identical. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, Ja'Curry, it's probably best that you just sit back here, watch what he's doing, learn this playbook that's going to have a lot more read option in it, hopefully. It's going to have a whole lot of use of the quarterback's legs in it, hopefully. Then you can take your training wheels off and be a monster next year. So that's what I would tell Ja'Curry Brown. But yeah, his future, it definitely, obviously, it's going to change, right? He expected to be the starter next year. Now he's not. And then we're kind of thinking, would he potentially transfer with all the competition in the QB room, plus he's not starting? I don't know, but we'll see. We'll all have to wait and see. The next thing that's changing is the win-loss. I have expectations crossed out, and I put demands in all caps. So when Ja'Curry Brown was considered to be the front runner for next year, I was thinking that 7 wins was our floor and 9 wins was like really, really good. Now, these win-loss expectations, aka demands, like I think we need to demand that this team wins at least 10 games next year. 10 games needs to be the floor, maybe even the basement floor. Like, especially when you look at the schedule that we have coming up, the schedule is not full of world beaters. It's just not. So 10 wins has to be the floor. So that definitely changes. From 7 wins, what I was thinking with Ja'Curry Brown, now let's jump it up to 10 wins. I'm curious to know what y'all think our wins should be next year. So let me know what that is in the comment section. Do you think 10 wins is too crazy? Or do you think maybe we should be looking towards 11 or 12, run the whole table? Let me know what you think on the comment section. All right, the next thing that changes, Shannon Dawson's job security. Let me explain this, okay? So I believe that our offense this past season did not put up enough points, nowhere near enough points. And I'm not talking about wins and losses. Some people will say, no, we didn't score enough points because we didn't win enough games. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I believe the team that we had, the talent that we had, we should have averaged 35 points or so. And we weren't even close to that. I think we should have been scoring, like, I don't know. I would say probably 4 or 5 touchdowns a game is what I felt like. So if you ask me, I think our offense underperformed like crazy. But what I always say to you all and to my friends and everybody else is I can't really blame Shannon Dawson too much because his quarterback betrayed him. Like when your quarterback becomes the best player on the other team, you cannot call everything that you would love to call. Instead, you got to turn into this conservative guy just to keep from losing the game for your team. If you are an offensive coordinator and you know that the defense is playing outstanding and all you've got to do is keep from turning the ball over, you probably would play conservative too. I know I would because I'm like, I'm not going to lose this game for my team. My quarterback is out there tripping. So I'm not going to have him going back into the shotgun on 3rd and 16 and trying to get a first down. I'm just going to do a draw and punt the ball away. And that's part of what he was doing. So now his excuses are gone. Like, it's not a fact. Like, I don't think that let's pray that we don't have the same issue where our quarterback is the biggest problem on our team. I cannot foresee that happening. Our quarterback should be our strength this year. So obviously our offensive line is great, but I think our quarterback, with Cam Ward coming in, based on what he did last year, he should be the strength of our offense. With that being said, we should have way more pre-snap motion. We should have all kinds of people running all over the place, confusing the defense. The playbook should be all the way wide open. No more excuses of being conservative. No more excuses with that. We all saw the Florida State game where it looked like he was calling a pretty good game. And then in the 3rd quarter, he just got completely conservative on me. I'm like, what is going on? So The conservative stuff, that can't happen. We got to be wide open, spread people apart, let Cam Ward do his thing, let that offensive line do their thing, let the stable of running backs that we have, they got to do their thing. If you just write out the names of the players that we have on this offense, it looks ridiculous. They've got to perform this year. So if Shannon Dawson does not perform this year, we all know he didn't get an extension, right? Defensive coordinator got an extension. He did not. So I firmly believe that if Ja'Carry Brown was still considered, or Emory Williams, if either one of them was considered to be the front runner for next year, and then we played the whole season with Ja'Carry Brown or Emory Williams, I think that would have been kind of a cushion for Shannon Dawson to be able to fall back on and say, okay, I had TVD play the year before. He was throwing interceptions everywhere. I had to guard our team from that. This year, I've got a first-year starter in either Emory Williams or Ja'Carry Brown, so you got to shoot me some bail on that. But he doesn't have that anymore. There's no excuse. He's got a quarterback in here who's played multiple big games. He's got a quarterback who's thrown crazy amount of yards in a season. He's got a quarterback that has a great touchdown to interception ratio. So there's no excuses. If the offense does not perform well this year, he's out of there. And I think he knows that and everybody else knows that. So his job security, it changed drastically when Cam Ward announced that he was coming to the Hurricanes. The next thing, and y'all probably going to be like, what the heck is Jordan talking about? Like, what are you talking about? How is there pressure on Coach G, the defensive coordinator, the only thing that went well for the Hurricanes last year? How is there pressure on him? Well, his pressure level changed quite a bit whenever Cam Ward decided that he was coming to Miami, because when you are the strong point, when you're the strong point of your team, the pressure is actually off of you because you can always point the blame on the other side and be like, they're not performing. It's them. They're the ones that's not performing. That's why we're losing. So that allows you to play free. It allows you to call things that you typically wouldn't call if there was a real tight pressure situation. But then whenever you get to the point where the offense is actually putting up some really good numbers and you know they're going to score 30 points every game, now it's like, all right, the fact that you performed really well last year on defense, I need you to do that again this year, on top of the fact that you lost 2 really good safeties. So Coach G lost 2 real good safeties. We all know that. Williams left, Kinchin's left. 2 safeties gone, right? And they brought some people in, but 2 really good safeties gone, so that increases the pressure. But when you know that the offense is going to put numbers up and you know they're going to move the ball down the field, now the pressure level jumps up because what you're doing, it actually matters now. It matters even more than last year. Because last year we won 7 games. Whoopee. You know what I'm saying? So we weren't this really stellar team with these really high expectations towards the middle of the season or so. But now the expectations are going to be really, really high from the beginning of the year all the way to the end. The offense is going to do what the offense is going to do, which I think they're going to excel like crazy. And if we can get the defense to put up similar numbers than they did this year, we'll probably win 11 to 12 games. That's my thoughts on that. So pressure level jumped up on him. Last but not least, my man Mario Cristobal. On-field results. And I'm sure y'all probably clapping so hard right now because y'all like, yeah, this is the guy. We got to make sure that he changes some things because there's some people out there that be killing my man Mario. So, and I gotta have my man's back. I've been having his back all this time, so I gotta have my man's back on this. So, as much as I have supported Mario Cristobal, it is time for on-field results. Like the recruiting and stuff is beautiful. I love it, and I do think eventually it will end up winning us a championship, just like it did for Michigan, and just like it's done for Georgia, and just like it did for Alabama. All these sure, they have great coaches, but that talent that they put on the field, man, you can have quite a few coaches coach them to a championship. That Georgia team is so stacked, there's probably 20 coaches, more than that can lead that Georgia team to a championship. They're just that good. So the recruiting and stuff, that's all fine and dandy. I'm cool with that. I can't hate that. But now it's time that we get some on-field results. We got to get some W's. We got to start seeing people uh, play, play with discipline. And that doesn't just mean not getting penalties left and right. That means being in a position that you're supposed to be. That means Cam Kitchens, just because you see a tight end run in front of you, doesn't mean take off running to intercept it and cut him off, because they might be running a wide receiver right behind you, aka Georgia Tech. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of disciplinarian issues where people are biting on plays and reading stuff that they shouldn't be looking at, that kind of stuff, we got to get that figured out this coming year, because that is what sets us apart from these other schools like Georgia and Michigan. So on-field results got to happen, my man. The recruiting and stuff, the off-the-field stuff is beautiful. I'm seeing momentum like crazy there. Now it's time to start seeing momentum in that win-loss column. I talked about the excuses with our offensive coordinator. It's the same thing with Mario Cristobal. Like, the excuses, man, we don't have any more excuses for you. I mean, and I'm Mario Cristobal's guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm almost like his bodyguard at this point. Like, people be killing him. I'm like, hold on. So at this point, there's no more that I can do to take up for this man. I really can't. He's got a really good quarterback, the top quarterback in the transfer portal that everybody wanted. He got him. He has a really good offensive line. He has really good skill position players. Like, his tight end room is good if they would just throw him the ball. They got some high recruits in the tight end room. They got wide receivers everywhere. They got Restrepo coming back. They got, like the offensive line. They got defense everywhere. The whole team is a really good team. You can't really point at one position outside of safety. I'm still concerned about that. But everywhere else, they are either really good or pretty good. These recruiting classes that Mario Cristobal brought in, they've matured enough to where they should be able to perform on the field now. So many folks talk about how long it takes to build a culture. That should have taken place by now. You know what I'm saying? So all of the excuses that I've been throwing to Mario Cristobal, like, hey, man, you got to give them time. Let these recruits get a little older. They'll start performing on the field. His quarterback is killing him. He can't do this. He can't do that. All of these excuses that I've laid at Mario Cristobal's feet, they kind of done now. So all we can do is just rely on these on-field results. We got to have them. We have to. There's no more excuses. All the excuses are gone. This is it. So curious to know what y'all think, man. Is there anything else that you think that we're missing as far as some things that are drastically changed with Cam Ward coming in? Like, anybody's expectations that you think of that's drastically changed. Curious to know what you think on that. But yeah, that's all that I got for you today. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, crazy big news though with Cam Ward. I could not believe it when I saw it. I was like, what? So then I had to check a couple of different sources real quick to make sure it was right. Then I jumped right on here to talk to y'all. But yeah, man, that's all that I got for you today. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I truly appreciate that. God bless. Take care. Peace.